Walmart didn't close its stores, but it just walked out on America's economy. Over $1.2 billion in U.S. contracts gone. Supply chains rerouted overnight, all because of Trump's tariffs. What was sold as protection for American jobs is now driving the largest private employer to offshore everything from toys to tomatoes. And while Trump demands they eat the tariffs, Walmart's quietly gutting the heart of Main Street. The fallout? It's already happening. But the real shock is what comes next. In the first 90 days of 2025, Walmart slashed domestic contracts and issued over 200 new orders to foreign vendors, particularly in Vietnam and India, according to trade data analyzed by Bloomberg. The shift followed Trump's April executive order imposing a blanket 10% tariff on all imports, with elevated rates up to 30% on key categories like electronics and toys. Walmart's board concluded that the domestic sourcing model was no longer sustainable. "We are being priced out of our own markets," a senior logistics executive told the Wall Street Journal. While Trump framed the move as unpatriotic, Walmart's pivot reflects a broader trend. U.S. companies are quietly leaving, not physically, but financially. Walmart drops a pricing bomb, and it hits every aisle. By mid-May, price tags at Walmart had already surged. Telsey Advisory Group tracked a 42.9% increase in Barbie dolls, jumping from $10.49 to $14.99 within a week. CFO John David Rainey warned CNBC that June would bring much more aggressive hikes, particularly in school supplies, groceries, and electronics. A Switch 2 console that retailed at $450 is now forecasted to exceed $600, while a basic car seat rose from $350 to $450 in under 6 weeks. Economists from the Peterson Institute confirm that 90% of Walmart's toy and baby gear inventory is exposed to tariff-inflated Chinese imports. Trump's public response: Walmart should eat the tariffs. But as Procter & Gamble, Mattel, and even Target echo similar warnings, the logic appears detached from operational reality. While customers face sticker shock, Walmart executed a logistics coup, replacing domestic suppliers with tariff-neutral partners in Latin America and Southeast Asia. Internal memos obtained by Reuters show procurement teams fast-tracking contracts in Mexico and replacing U.S.-made aluminum packaging with fiberglass to sidestep metal import duties. The company's Grow With Us initiative reallocated over $1.2 billion in vendor contracts abroad during Q2 planning alone. Retail analyst Dana Telsey noted that this wasn't just avoidance, it was systemic restructuring. Walmart is no longer just reacting to tariffs. It's designing a business model that assumes tariffs will persist. And with 80% of toys and nearly all baby gear still produced in China, Walmart's offshore redirection is more about insulation than ideology. Sources confirmed to Bloomberg News that Trump erupted in a closed-door meeting, reportedly calling Walmart's leadership traitors to the American worker. On Truth Social, he demanded the company absorb the costs and stop blaming tariffs. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick echoed the call on CNN, asserting that companies and countries primarily eat the tariff. But this view sharply contradicts data. The National Retail Federation estimates tariffs added $31 billion in additional consumer costs from January to April 2025 alone. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers called the administration's position economically indefensible. Walmart didn't publicly retaliate, but the company's next quarterly statement, outlining rising prices and new offshore partnerships, made their position clear. And the ripple didn't stop there. Let's snap this into focus. Walmart's supply chain reconfiguration was never about headlines. It was about survival. In just 2 months, over 100 U.S. vendors lost Walmart contracts, per Reuters, as overseas procurement rose by 23%. According to a Goldman Sachs retail forecast, automation investment jumped 17% quarter over quarter, directly tied to labor cost mitigation. Meanwhile, U.S. consumer sentiment fell 2.7% in May, its lowest reading since late 2022, with over 75% of respondents citing cost of necessities as the primary concern, per the University of Michigan. This wasn't an isolated adjustment, it was a systemic response to volatility. And if Walmart, an institution with 150 million weekly US shoppers, can't stay anchored, it raises one urgent question. Who can? Walmart's offshore pivot is not unprecedented. It's the latest link in a chain that began years ago. In 2018, Harley-Davidson shifted production to Thailand after the EU imposed retaliatory tariffs. Trump called it a betrayal. By 2019, General Motors closed plants in Lordstown, Ohio, and Warren, Michigan, citing $1 billion in added costs from steel and aluminum tariffs. According to Reuters, that decision wiped out over 4,000 U.S. jobs. And then there was Mid-Continent Nail in Missouri, America's largest nail manufacturer, forced to lay off 60% of its workforce in less than 6 months after steel input prices surged 25%. Walmart, however, represents a different scale entirely. With over 4,600 stores and 150 million weekly customers, its strategic realignment is not a protest. It's a market signal. As Trump repeats old rhetoric, the data points in one direction. Tariffs are not reshoring industries. They're accelerating their exit. When Walmart recalibrates, entire zip codes feel it. According to a Brookings Institution study, in over 1,000 rural counties, Walmart ranks among the top 5 employers, accounting for up to 9% of total local employment. In Arkansas, Kentucky, and West Virginia, local suppliers that once secured multi-year contracts with Walmart are now being dropped in favor of Vietnamese and Indian producers. Freight data tracked by S&P Global shows a 14% reduction in domestic shipping orders linked to Walmart distribution hubs between March and May 2025. Meanwhile, automation programs, including the rollout of AI stock replenishment systems in 800 stores, have already displaced thousands of part-time roles. These aren't isolated cost-saving moves. They're restructurings with community-level consequences. And yet the administration's response hasn't shifted, despite mounting evidence that the policy fallout is radiating beyond corporate boardrooms and into the wallets of everyday Americans. Walmart's Q1 report exposed a contradiction. Revenue climbed 4.5% year-over-year to $165.6 billion, largely driven by grocery and e-commerce sales. But operating income fell 4.2% as import costs surged. The company acknowledged pre-tariff stockpiling of $2.3 billion in merchandise, a temporary buffer, not a strategy. CEO Doug McMillon told analysts, "We can't absorb rising tariffs indefinitely without passing them to consumers." In fact, the average price of general merchandise rose 9.8% from February to April, according to BLS data. Rainey projected that by July, baby gear, toys, and household electronics could spike another 15 to 20% due to Q2's delayed tariff pass-through. Wall Street responded predictably. Shares dipped initially, but rebounded as investors embraced Walmart's margin-preserving offshore model. According to Barclays, capital expenditure on foreign supply chain expansion is projected to increase 22% in 2025, double the pace of domestic investment. Profitability may recover. The American workforce? That's less certain. The administration's response so far suggests escalation, not recalibration. Bloomberg reports that Trump is exploring punitive re-import tariffs of up to 35% on U.S. companies shifting manufacturing abroad. The move would likely violate existing WTO trade obligations and trigger immediate retaliatory measures from trading partners, risking a cascade of legal disputes. Meanwhile, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick doubled down, telling CNN that tariffs are patriotic tools. Despite consumer inflation rising 4.1% year-over-year as of April, per the Bureau of Economic Analysis. Economists warn this approach could produce stagflation, especially if Walmart stalls its domestic store expansion or pivots further toward online-first operations. And it may already be happening. According to JP Morgan, Walmart has paused plans to open 150 new rural locations initially announced in 2023, instead redirecting logistics investment into Southeast Asia. So the question isn't whether Walmart is leaving, but whether Washington is pushing it out faster than anyone predicted. Walmart didn't declare war. It simply stopped playing by rules that no longer worked. When a retailer with more customers than the US public school system begins offshoring en masse, it's not ideology, it's math. Tariffs haven't delivered the promised manufacturing revival. They've delivered sticker shock, supplier collapses, and a silent exodus. This wasn't a protest, it was a verdict. And if the biggest company in America just ruled against the system, how long before the rest follow? So now the question isn't whether Walmart is leaving, but whether Washington just gave every other giant a reason to go too. Should companies be forced to absorb tariffs, or is survival strategy fair game? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're glad you're enjoying this video. Please like and subscribe. Check out another video that is now on your screen.